Hi, Lynn Carnes here, and I've been doing some videos really talking to myself, but in front of the camera, about this whole situation with the virus and how people's minds can tend to run away with them, mine included. So in the vein of like keeping your mind from running away with you and actually learning to have your mind be a tool or run your mind, my my thought for the day is we've talked before about perspective, and today I want to talk about perception. Because in the face of what feels like danger or what is danger, our perceptive abilities can get compromised. I know for sure for me that just the littlest thing can send me off if I'm already really nervous. So these are the kind of things that can affect perception. And I'm going to challenge you at the end of this video to see if you can shift your perception and both heighten it and dull it at times, depending on really what's called for. But the first thing that will really affect perception is survival mode. It's that fight, flight, or freeze response that is hardwired in us. The other thing, and on that survival mode, knowing that you're in it can make all the difference in the world. Survival mode's not designed to tell you that you're in it. Survival mode's designed to keep you alive. But if you can begin to understand, okay, it's going to send me a first thought, and then I'm responsible for the second thought. That's going to be really helpful in times like this, because you don't have to let your mind run away with that first thought. You can actually step back and go, okay, wait a minute, what is going on? The other thing that will really highly influence your perception is context. What happens in what setting? What happens in terms of, like, another thing that really affects your perception is your personal biases. Biases are things we want, rules we've made up for ourselves over time. Biases show up in sometimes what we don't want to have happen. What I've noticed is there's almost a direct correlation between somebody believing that they need to stay home or being willing to social distance in today's environment, depending on what they had to give up. And I'm fairly fortunate because I live out here in the boonies where there aren't very many people. And so my life is not changing that much because I was already kind of social distancing. But that's another thing that makes a difference, is our biases, our desires, our rules, the context. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do to begin to, like, instead of having your mind run away with you, if it is, mine is occasionally, instead of having your mind run away with you, but like letting you run your mind, is what I want you to do is notice the physical sensation that goes with hearing the bad news or any news that you hear. And just see if you can tune into it and then tune into the story you tell yourself about what that sensation means. So nothing else to do about it right now. There's a lot you can play with once you get tuned in, but the first thing you have to do is develop your perception, develop your perceptual tools to be able to listen to what's happening. And I like to start with the physical because it's running us more than we know. It's part of your mind, by the way. Your physical sensations are part of your mind. Would love to hear how you're playing with these things in the comments, what is going on with your mind. And here's my best to you in these trying times. I promise you'll be stronger at the end of this if you work on yourself.